Hi, and welcome to Female Entrepreneurs Magazine, your go-to platform for ambitious women who are ready to take the business world by storm. I'm your host, Angel France, and each week we'll dive into the latest strategies, stories, and success secrets from the most inspiring female entrepreneurs around the world. Welcome to the Real Female Entrepreneurs. Our next guest believes business shouldn't feel like a never ending juggling act. That's where her team and her come in. They are a business support agency that their name says it all. So you want to make sure you take note of it. InCollaboration. She helps small business owners ditch that stress and overwhelm so they can focus on what they really love. With a powerhouse team on her side, she offers virtual assistant services, graphic design, marketing, and strategy, all in just one place. Plus, she has launched amazing new program. It's a membership program for action takers. A podcast is also launching in late 2025. Please help me welcome the amazing Sam Thurlow. Welcome, Sam.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Oh my God, you are what we all need, 100%. However, I know something had to happen to cause you to actually become the entrepreneur you are and start the business that you have. Do you mind explaining?
Yeah, more than something. I think a lot of some things, like most of us, it's definitely not been linear. I mean, do any of us take a linear journey here? My background, so I have a graphic design degree, so I went and trained in that. Realized the one thing I sort of learned from my degree was I did not want to be a corporate graphic designer. That was my biggest earning, and I ended up really heavily involved in the societies. I was leading the marketing department of the enterprise society, the sort of social enterprise society. And then I somehow landed myself as president of the entrepreneurial business society as well, which I'm not quite sure, like the best things we all do. I'm not sure how I ended up there, but it was absolutely fantastic. So I really ended up in that world, really loved it. Came out of university and just knew I wanted to do something for myself. So I went and created a pattern design business to begin with, and honestly completely failed, really struggled. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And if you've ever been through that, then you know, like, you end up in this kind of stuck position of feeling like you failed, but not really feeling like you can talk about it. Especially having come straight out of university and all my peers were off in their corporate jobs making money, and you know, everybody told me it was a crazy thing to do. I felt a little bit stuck, but at the same time, it was one of the best things I did because I learned so much and it opened up other doors. I started working with other creatives and collaborating with them, and that kind of led me into that world and doing a lot of collaborative work and learning about creative business development. I started kind of an almost iteration of what I'm doing now in that world, working with that kind of makers, crafters, and that kind of grew over time. I spent some time as a marketing director of a London marketing agency, learned a lot there, working with a lot of bigger corporate companies, realized it wasn't the right place for me. More juggling, you know, the multiple different things I was doing at the time, and came out of it realizing I wanted to do similar, but for smaller businesses, for female entrepreneurs, and for people that I could reconnect with, and in a way that I loved and felt good about, whereas I didn't always feel the ethos of where I was working before was quite the same as mine. So really wanted to do something for myself, went into virtual assistants, realized that there was a need for people wanting my graphic design services, the marketing skills I had and all my background. So I started kind of combining these and offering it as and when people needed it. And really that's how it's all grown, is just out of a need from what my clients needed, and started offering the extras and grew it, and now have a team of currently 6. I've got a 7th team member off on mat leave, so 6 in the team right now, until she comes back. And yeah, lots of amazing female entrepreneurs that we're helping. It's just incredible.
That is amazing. And I love the fact that you have to go through things to find out what that niche is for you. Don't you find that working with female entrepreneurs?
Yeah, absolutely. And there are, looking back, there were so many times that I felt like I was failing, or there were mistakes or things that just weren't working. And at the time, it feels like the worst thing in the world. Now, I wouldn't change any of it, even the worst parts that I struggled my way through, because without it, I wouldn't have opened the doors I did. I wouldn't have learned what didn't work and what does work, and connected with my right kind of people. And exactly like you said, like figuring out who those are wasn't very easy. We all get told like you need to figure out what industry, or the exact person you're working with, like who are they. And actually for me, it's personality. My clients are across all kinds of industries. I've got artists right through to health and safety consultants and everything in between. And actually there's no sort of pattern to it other than the personality and the goals and the kind of women that I'm working with.
Oh, well, that's amazing, because everybody knows I'm a personality freak. I love personalities.
I I think it's just the best. Working with people who you connect with matters so much more than what they do, I think.
Yeah. Talking about connections, you are married right now, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how are you balancing? I mean, your family, you have friends. How are you balancing that right now as we speak?
Right now, like today,
Well,
it's
as a
tough.
whole.
I'll be honest, it's tough. Um, Obviously, I've mentioned like there's a lot at the moment. We've got a big, busy agency, a lot of clients at the moment. We've just launched a new membership, which I'm sure we'll come back to. So right now, the juggle is tough. I have to say the lines get blurred from time to time, but I think the small wins for me right now. At the best times, I've had a really good balance. I plan ahead, which is what I advocate and support my clients to do. It's really hard to do it for yourself though. And I've got a really good balance and boundaries in place and all those things. And then you do something big and exciting and it all goes out the window, which is definitely what I've had the last couple of weeks. So it has been the little things for me that are keeping me balanced. It's the finding 15 minutes to read a book. I like to read a personal development or business book in the morning over a cup of coffee and just have a bit of quiet to start my day. It's enjoying the sunshine. I've now got a garden office, which I didn't used to have, and just enjoying a little bit of that. It's the, taking 20 minutes in the evening to just sit down and talk to my husband and hear about his day instead of just being on the go the whole time. Like, it's the small things, but it's those little moments through the day that are kind of keeping me sane.
And May, you're going to have a whirlwind. So you just born a baby today of
Yeah,
your membership. And what's happening in May?
I'm having my first proper baby.
Yeah. So how do you feel like that is going to change the balance of things? How do you think you'll maneuver through?
So this has been a really difficult one. And actually, you hear so many different things about having children. I have heard everything from it doesn't have to hold you back. You can still do everything and, achieve all your goals and keep working, to are you sure you're taking enough time off? Do you want to maybe rethink your plan? So honestly, being my first, I have no idea really what I'm walking into. I've worked with kids in the past, I've got a lot in the family, I'm confident and comfortable with it, but the reality of having a baby 24/7 is totally different, isn't it? So it's going to be a learning curve, but I think for me, I'm really fortunate. My husband's taking shared parental leave, so here we can kind of share it out. He's actually having, I think, he's back to work in a couple of little blocks, but most of up until April the following year off. February, I think it is now. But it's a big chunk of time with a few weeks and a month here and there where he's back at work, which is kind of giving me that time that I can be a little bit more flexible. I've got an incredible team. So it's as much being able to balance myself and my time, where I have all these exciting things I want to do, which is so common, isn't it? And I want to find that balance of making sure that I'm letting my team do their thing and I'm not getting in the way, and, just letting them run with it because they are incredible, and supporting them to do that over the next few months. And also balancing doing all the things like getting this membership out there and the podcast later this year that I am really excited to do, but finding the balance of doing that and not missing out at home. So it's going to be a really fluid, flexible. I've taken a little bit of time off, but sort of 6 weeks completely off, and then I'm being fluid after that. And I think that's the key, is I'm going to work when I want to work so that I get to still have my life and my adult communication and do something I'm really passionate about, but be fluid with what works and when do I need to be at home, when do I need some time for me and my family.
So one of the things that I've learned, especially from all the women that are having babies right now that are female entrepreneurs, they have a consensus of one thing, and it's their tribe.
Mm.
And the support of that tribe, either their work tribe, their family tribe. They have a list for everybody who can handle anything, either
Yeah.
at a drop of a moment or it's a planned type event. So, yeah. So I don't know if that helps, but you probably already have that all done because you're so
Oh,
organized.
absolutely. I think it's hard to plan though, isn't it? Because of course you don't know what kind of baby you're going to get, right? So it might be really easy and sleep really well, or we might have an absolute nightmare. And the best piece of advice I probably got was to kind of treat it like business contingency and have multitude of plans of, if we get, everything goes really smoothly, this is going to be the plan. And this is when I'll be back to work. And this is how much. And if it doesn't, here's like a scale of all the different versions of the plan, so that you're not walking into it with one clear plan. And then actually that's not at all the situation you're left with,
That is so cute. I love it. I love the fact that we spent time on this. So now let's talk about your baby you born today.
Yes.
Your membership program. Tell us about it, what it actually is doing, how it can support other female entrepreneurs.
Sure. So I realized over months and months of meeting with women who were struggling that there's this really big gap between, we kind of know the basics of what we need to do, of how to post on social media, of kind of the marketing we need to be doing, getting our name out there. There's a big gap between knowing that much and then being ready to get the expert support and outsource. And there's this big gap in the middle where we are kind of at capacity and we're trying to juggle it all, doing the dance, as you like to say, and trying to achieve our goals. But we need that help, but we're not ready to be able to afford it yet. So it's to bridge that gap. So we're offering social media support, marketing support, and general business support, all in the membership. So basically, we do it in a group format. We are there as the experts. Our copywriters, our designers are all part of the team, coming in, helping with all your questions, teaching you and training you through how to get your social media done and prepped for a whole month in a 90-minute live session with us, how to do the same for blogs, newsletters, websites, and a bit of networking, of course, because like we've just said, tribe is so important. I think being with people that are in a similar stage of business as you is just so important, so that people can access that one-to-one kind of support, that expert support, but before they're ready to afford one-to-one expert support and outsourcing.
Yeah, I love that. That one's perfect because that is so needed. Because most females are like, "Oh my God, I can't afford that right now." And I think it's very inexpensive. Do you mind sharing the price right now?
Yeah, so at the moment it's today it's on an early offer, £30 plus VAT. For the month, it's going up to our founding offers, £39.99 plus VAT every month. So we've kept it at under £50 VAT included, even in our founding offer, because I think it's just so important. That's 2 90-minute sessions and your networking, templates, business support, all of that. It's a lot for the price, and I have been told many a time that the price is far too low, but I want to make it accessible. We're doing this to support women, as they're trying to grow, and it has to be affordable and accessible because that's what everybody needs.
I agree with you because I feel the same way as I'm in the struggle of that too, and that's
Yeah.
what I keep getting told, "Oh, that's way too cheap." I'm like, "But no."
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I know what I would want, you know what I mean? And what I needed when, even not even just starting out as an entrepreneur, but down the road a few years too. Mhm.
Yeah, and that's where it's come from is, I've been through it. I struggled alone and it was really hard. And I know that if I'd have had that kind of support, it didn't need to be as hard as it was when I went through it. And now seeing so many people that come and talk to me about their challenges, realize they can't afford our agency support, I'm always cramming in as much advice as I can into our 20, 30-minute calls to help them. But I walk away wishing there was something more I could do, seeing how stuck they are. So let's just solve that and help each other get through it.
Oh, I love that. That is so sweet. Okay. All right. What advice do you have for other women trying to grow their own business or thinking about, oh, I'm going to start my own? What advice do you have?
My biggest one, and this is where I would probably say that I lost probably years that I could have gotten to where I wanted to be faster, is to do things your way, to ignore the must and the shoulds in the world and the right way to build business, the right way to be a business owner. I definitely fell into the trap of, feeling like you had to be a particular way and go to the corporate networking breakfasts and put on the fancy thing and stand there and do your 30-second pitch and be all professional. And actually, my business has grown when I just started being me and figuring out what that looks like in the business I want to do, but also the kind of business owner, CEO, however you want to call it, that feels right for you. There's no overnight success. None of these corporate business owners have found the secret sauce. It's being yourself and figuring out what works for you. It's hard, especially in the early stages and when you're growing, I think, to have the confidence to just tune into your gut and do what feels right. But surrounding yourself with the people that can help you lean into that, it makes a world of difference.
Love that. That is true. Everything makes a world of difference, and finding so relationship building and
Yeah.
finding those people that actually you relate to is how you build it.
Yeah.
Networking with others, but it
Absolutely.
doesn't have to be, like you said, in a physical location. It can be online. It
Yeah,
can
and
be
it can
in
be so much more relaxed. It doesn't have to be something big and scary and almost that corporate style. There's so many ways to do business now. There's so many ways to sell. Like I don't do sales in the traditional way. It horrifies me. I feel icky. It's not my thing. And I was led to believe that's the way you build businesses in the early stages. And that's why I struggled. Now, doing things my way, it just works.
I like that. All right, knowing what you've learned in career, your business, what advice would you have given your 18-year-old self?
Oh, see, that's a really interesting one because part of me thinks is exactly that, to figure out what your way of doing things and to find your people and to not do things that felt like you had to. But then if I had done that and if I had followed that or if I had done anything differently, I'm not sure I would have the business I have today. So in a way, I kind of like the naivety of my 18-year-old self's journey to get here.
You're right, 'cause I look at that all the time. I'm like, if there just would have been one step off,
Yeah.
or I wouldn't be who I am today and have what I have.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. I wouldn't
I
give
had
that
to
up.
Yeah, I had to go through those crazy things, but I mean, so I get it.
Yeah.
All right, what is one key strategy that has helped you advance in your career? Maybe that you said nobody thought it would help, but it did. Like, I like those unique things that you did something that everybody was like, "Oh, I don't know if that's gonna work," but you did it anyway.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely think it's been the weird and wonderful route I have taken to get here, because without that, if things hadn't have not been working, I wouldn't have freelanced for the marketing agency and ended up their account director, and then I wouldn't have the marketing experience I have to bring that into my agency. And if I hadn't had to take a part-time job doing admin when my business was at the very early stages and I couldn't afford my rent if I didn't work part-time, I wouldn't have some of the admin experience I have to combine that into the VA side. And I think that's been really important to me because we only offer things in the agency I'm confident with as well. There are areas where some of my team have way more knowledge than me. Like my graphic designer is so much more experienced at web building than I am, but I understand websites. I can design websites. I know the basics of websites. So I'm really passionate about making sure we only take on things that I'm confident that I can offer and talk about as well. So yeah, I think I had to go on that road.
Okay, so I really like the fact that you said you had to go on that road for the simple reason that I love the fact that you are so honest with this and explaining to other people that, yeah, you still had your business and you still had other jobs.
Yeah.
Because
Years.
as an entrepreneur, don't you find that it's a necessity sometimes to have other income coming in?
I think you either have to have had a career and have put money aside to be able to do it, or you have to work other jobs while you do it, or sometimes a combination. And it takes a while sometimes, and you might hit jackpot. And I know, some of the entrepreneurs I'm working with, within a year of starting their business, they've had huge success and it's working, and that they know exactly what they want to do because they came out of a career knowing what they wanted to do and went straight into it. But then there are other people like me, I know there's quite a lot of us out there, that have had to fall a lot and pivot and change things and grow. And that without that, we wouldn't be where we are. And it's made us a lot stronger. But it wasn't easy. So without working the admin jobs and the pub jobs and whatever else we did along the way in those early years, we would never have got here. Either that or we would have, but we wouldn't have been living somewhere with a roof over our heads, right?
And I'm one of them. I always had 2 or 3 businesses or 2 or 3 different jobs with
Yeah.
money coming in from multiple streams. And back then, that wasn't savvy. Now, having multiple streams of income is like the key that everybody talks about.
Yeah, because even in employment now, they talk about how unstable it can be, especially here. I don't know if it's the same for you,
Oh,
but
yeah.
in the UK, there's been a lot of talk about it in the last few years of it's not stable anymore. It's not the same as when you used to go and get a career job and you do that for 40, 50 years and, that was it. And like you need that flexibility now, and multiple income streams is a good way to do that.
So, what are future plans you have? We talked about things that have happened in the
Gosh,
past.
so
We know we're starting a podcast, right? In the late year, and you
yeah.
just started the membership. Is there anything else we need to keep an eye out for?
Yeah, so the membership's the big one I'm focused on at the moment. I have really big plans for that, wanting to grow it. The podcast I'm really excited about, so that's all going to be around burnout. There are lots of other ideas in mind that I'm desperately trying to pin to the side so that I'm not stretching myself too thin, including, I used to do a lot of conferences and keynote speaking, and I'm dying to get back into this. So things like this is wonderful because it gives me that, like, just that little bit of that feeling. But I am definitely looking to get back into keynote speaking at the end of the year, start doing conferences again. And I would absolutely love to start doing my own in-person networking, and potentially a conference down the line as well. But these are like the big, we need to slow ourselves down here. I think a membership, a baby, and a podcast in 1 year is probably going to do the trick.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right. So, if you had a superpower for just one day, 24 hours, what would it be?
It would be to slow down time. I think time is the one resource that there never seems to be enough of. And, as much as I help other people with that, I never, ever seem to have enough for myself, which is the typical trap of helping others to do things that then is impossible for yourself because you're busy helping somebody else. So I would definitely like to be able to slow down time, whether it's to get more stuff at work done with the millions of goals I've just told you I'd like to achieve, or just at home as well, just to have a little bit more of those quiet times. Weekends seem to fly by. You squeeze in a bit of work and you do a few chores, and then they're gone.
It's like, where did it go? It's gone, and then you're just like, okay, here we are. All right.
Yeah.
So what's one fun fact about you that not a lot of people know about?
Oh, not a lot. I have talked about it before, but it's not a big one I talk about a lot. I used to do karate. I've obviously paused now. So I got all the way to a brown belt in karate. I was going from a black belt when I had to stop when I was a lot younger. Got back into it a couple of years ago and was working my way back up. And I'm on another pause at the moment. But I would love to kind of be able to get back to it again and pick it back up and maybe one day go as far as getting the black belt.
Oh, that'll be cute. That'll be fun. Do you know if you're having a boy or girl, or you don't know yet?
I don't. We've gone for a surprise.
Well, that'd be great. Maybe you guys could go get your black belt together.
Yeah, there we go.
That would be a fun family thing.
That would be well cute.
That would be. All right. Book. Do you have a favorite book or books?
Yes. So I am at the moment really into, as I said, I've been like reading in the mornings, and that little bit of peace is my like go-to. I love reading something that's a bit inspiring. It gives me that like boost for the day. My two that I keep coming back to at the moment is Atomic Habits, which is just wonderful. And I don't think there's too many times you can read that without getting something from it. And Chris Bailey's work, so Hyper Focus and his other books. I'm really enjoying those at the moment.
Yeah, those are two of my favorite too. So I understand. I mean, if anything, it's going to get you super focused on what you want and make sure that you attack each thing one at a time and make sure it's done.
Yeah, and it just gives you that little the boost to be productive as well when you're sort of not feeling it as well. It can really change your mindset, can't it?
Yeah. What about songs that get you moving and grooving?
So my go-to classic is always going to be Spice Girls. I am a 90s girl at heart. Don't know if I should be embarrassed for admitting that. But at the moment, I'm really enjoying Taylor Swift's song Willow. Is just so calming. I like that is my go-to if I'm feeling like the stress from a really busy day, to just put that on for a couple of minutes and it just drifts away. So it's one or the other. We're going 90s girl to like a nice calm country song.
So we need one or two songs from Spice Girls that you love.
Oh my gosh, can you like all of them? I mean, it's definitely got to be things like Spice World and the big classics.
The big classics from them. Okay. All right. What is your favorite quote or quotes?
So I can't decide if this is an actual quote or if it's just kind of pulled from something and I use it all the time. But I really love consistency isn't the same as constantly. I talk about that a lot because that is a trap we all fall into, I think, especially on social media. So I'm always banging on about that one. I don't know if it's a real quote. So my real quote would definitely be Brené Brown has a lovely quote about perfectionism. That I'm a recovering perfectionist and an aspiring good enoughist. I love that because I definitely used to fall into that perfectionism trap and it's still a work in progress. So I am definitely working towards good enoughist.
I love that because you know what? That is just so perfect because we all have a tendency to try to be OCD, perfectionist, whatever. And I mean, sometimes it's just too hard.
Yeah, and it just stops you from getting where you need to be. Like this membership, I've been planning this for about a year, and I cannot tell you how much of that year was just procrastinating over what I wanted it to be and when was the best time to put it out and all the worry around it, when actually just getting it out, it's in an early stage and we're going to build it from there. And there's great things we can do about it, and it's paid off so much.
Yep, that is a true statement. And the first quote, give me the first quote again. You don't know if it's a quote, but it is a quote. You want to know why? You're saying
it. Yeah. I didn't know if we needed somebody else's quote or if I'm allowed. That seems a bit egotistic to be like, my favorite quote is me. Can you imagine?
You say it and it works. Yeah. Hello. It fits right in with your brand.
It does, and I must talk about it so much because I'm very passionate about it. Yeah, consistency isn't constantly.
Love that. All right. How do you stay motivated? Because there are days.
Oh my gosh, lots of
Yeah,
them.
there are days. So how do you stay motivated?
Small wins, definitely. Finding that balance. So focusing on the small goals, the small wins at work, taking those small moments of joy as well, those small moments of balance. So even if it's crazy busy, having just, enjoying putting my moisturizer on in the evening and enjoying the smell and that calm and those little moments. It's definitely those two, and the books in the morning. If I am really struggling, like you go through phases sometimes where you just lose it completely and the motivation is gone and you just feel like it's never coming back. If I get myself back into that routine of getting up, reading a book that's inspiring in the morning, that will then set me back on the right track almost always.
And I've pulled a book and said, this is a good book I'm going to read, but it doesn't do anything for me. So, I mean, it just goes back and I get another one that
Yeah.
It's just not the right timing for that book. Not that it's a bad book. It's just the timing's off.
Yeah. And I usually have multiple books on the go at all times, and I chop and change with which one, and I go back to old books when I need them. And yeah, you use them to help motivate yourself. Yeah.
Definitely. All right. So, how can my audience with female entrepreneurs stay connected with you?
Oh, I would love that. You can come find me on social media. So I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn. I mean, I'm on most of them, but Instagram and LinkedIn are my main ones. I have a Facebook group about burnout. So if anybody is struggling with the juggle or has been through burnout, we have a business Facebook group for trying to just manage the juggle, either trying to avoid the burnout or recover from it, that people are welcome to come and join. Or book in a call. I always love to have a virtual cuppa and have a chat and learn about people's businesses just to support each other. So that's always another great way.
Awesome. And what is your website?
It's InCollaboration.co.uk.
Awesome. All right. Is there anything else we have not talked about that you want to share with our audience?
I have no idea. There are probably a million other things we could talk about. I mean, it's an endless list, isn't it, in entrepreneurism, and especially for female business owners. But no, I think we've covered some really great things, and I just really appreciate the chance to come and share my story and the learnings. I just hope that it helps others out there who are starting a business or are struggling through it and going through those ups and downs, because I'm definitely not alone.
Definitely not alone. All right, Sam, you're amazing. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Female Entrepreneurs Magazine. I hope you found inspiration, actionable tips, and a sense of connection with our incredible community of driven women. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share the episode with fellow entrepreneurs who are ready to elevate their game. Remember, your success is just the beginning, and we're here to support you in every step of the way. Until next time, keep shining, keep thriving, and remember, you have the power to create the business and life of your dreams. Stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.